Oh, let's jump right into it, man. LA is on fire. LA is going crazy.
Literally.
I was literally just downtown Long Beach and I seen the protesters with the Ice signs and the Mexican flags and all of that. They was downtown Long Beach today. As y'all know, they've been shutting down the freeways. They've been on the 105. I think they've been on the 405. They've been everywhere all around Los Angeles. They've been throwing rocks at.
They was in Compton too, right there off of like by the Ducky Hood, right there off of like Atlantic and Alondra. And
they tripping over there.
Yeah, that borderline of Paramount and Compton. Oh, it's wild. And that's where they was throwing the stones, and bricks at the trucks and
they
things.
They low-key laying them pallets out on purpose.
Okay, so basically we've been talking about this immigration thing for a while, ever since the presidential election went on. Y'all pretty much know all of our stances by now, but let's get into how y'all feel about it now that the raids and the deportations are actually going on. We're seeing people being snatched out of schools. We're seeing people being snatched off the graduation stages. I think a couple people got snatched out some funerals. I think a couple people got snatched out of the immigration building.
They did.
Going to get their paperwork legally. Now, before we did this topic, because I knew it was coming up, I talked to some of the immigrants that I personally know in real life, because a lot of people are speaking on this and not even talking to immigrants. I know immigrants in real life. I don't work with immigrants from Jamaica, immigrants from Belize. I know immigrants from all over. So I wanted their take on it. And the ones that I know that are here legally, they're all for the deportations. They said, my family came here legally. My grandparents came here legally. They got the paperwork. They flat out told me, I got hella family and friends who, once they got here, they just said, fuck the paperwork. I know people who've been here 30, 40 years and they had every opportunity to get their paperwork and they just never did. And they were telling me how easy it was to get the paperwork when they first came. One of the dudes from Belize told me, shit, nigga, my grandma came here. She done went back and forth to Belize 4-5 times without the paperwork. That's how easy it was. Finally, she went and got it, wind up getting Social Security for her kids back there. Then we came, he got his paperwork. Then his wife came, got their paperwork. But he was telling me the reason he is for the deportations is because he knows a lot of people from Belize or from Jamaica who done a lot of things over there and they flee here. And he's saying if they were ever to have to go back there, there's people waiting for them and they're gonna be killed like on sight. Like they done great people, they done caught so many bodies, or they done robbed so many people. They done so many crimes back home and they flee to the US to flee being punished for their crimes. Right. So he's like, if they ever get deported back, I'm telling you, it's people there, it's families there, and they waiting to kill them dudes. So he's like, that's why he's for it, because he knows a lot of the criminals come here. And since we can't dictate who's a criminal and who's not, you got to send everybody back and come and do it the right way.
I told you they should have did it like how they did on Scarface when they was trying to bring them through. But on top of that, I just seen something about over 200-something pedophiles just got swooped up. So I just think, I brought this up when we was talking about it on live, like y'all really forget that Obama had the most deportations. Yeah. He did the most. It's just, I feel like it's the fact because it's Trump pushing it, and it's the fact that the way they're going about it now. But also people didn't riot and do all this when Obama was doing it. I think it was more silent and under the table versus just coming to snatch people. Trump is more on the aggressive tip where I'm like, nigga, I'm tripping. And that's what it is. And I think the biggest problem of it is that you feel like you got the workers that's 30, 40-something years old with no record, where you could like probably give them some type of paper. So I think that's where everybody's mad about. And then you breaking up, you see children coming out and they fathers or they mothers. I also seen some people take the route of just taking their family peacefully. Like, instead of letting me worry about for the rest of my life if they gonna come snatch me up, let me just take my family and figure it out from there. So I'm assuming they might go back. Because you got to think the people that's out here really is tripping and they catch you, they might ban your ass from the U.S. forever. Let alone talking about getting your paperwork. You get up to the front, they talking about denied.
And we got to make this be known, because Hispanics have made themselves be the face of this immigration thing, because we here in Cali. They jumped in front of that bullet. But you guys are not the only immigrants. So when we're talking about this immigration topic, you guys are coming out saying, oh, y'all racist, y'all from Long Beach, y'all hate Hispanics, this, that, and the third. No, we're talking about all immigrants. There's black immigrants as well. Yeah. Did you not just hear me say, I know Indians, Haitians, I know some Nigerians, I know some Jamaicans. We're talking about them too. They gotta go too. If you don't got the paperwork, your ass got to go. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. The freeways is overcrowded. The jobs is being taken. It's shit going on that y'all want to act like it's not going on. but it's going on, and we got to be real about it. And yes, that's cool if they came over here and they were, you know, providing for their families and being good citizens and all of that. But what y'all keep forgetting is coming here illegally in itself is a crime in itself. So y'all could say, oh, they not doing no crime. Nigga, coming here illegally was the crime. And we could sit here and cry about this was Mexico before and all of that. Well, guess what? Y'all gave that shit up for about 15 million. I'm not going to say y'all sold it by choice, but at the end of the day, after the war, you still showed it. Whether it was you seceded the land and you sold it by force, whatever the case, it was sold. So at the end of the day, whatever you can't protect, you can't keep. So unless you could take this back by force, you can't keep it. And the whole time that you was here without that paperwork, you had opportunities to get the paperwork. I just sat here and told you, I sat here and looked this man in the face. He told me he has family who been here 30 years and never gave a fuck about getting the paperwork. They got here, got comfortable, and was like, oh, this ain't gonna never change. They never thought this day would come. Now that this day has came, they started panicking. But they had ample time to get the paperwork. There's no way you was here for 20, 30, 40 years and you never tried to get the paperwork once, because it wasn't always this long, drawn-out process the way it is now. Back then, you damn near walk in the office, fill out the paperwork, bam, you got your card.
Yeah, I agree.
They chose not to do it. So why should we feel sorry for you not handling your business when you had every single opportunity to do that?
You got to be accountable of that. It's like driving on expired license. You know your license are expired. And if you get put over by the police, you can't be mad at the police because your license expired. You got to be accountable. You should have went to the DMV and handle your business. But go ahead, Colin. I know you.
No, yeah, I think it's a convoluted, complex situation, right? Like, I don't think it's just as black and white as if you break the law, you break the law, right? I think we can look at multiple situations in our own community where people do things that might be looked at as wrong, but the certain reasons they do it is right. So it's a complex, convoluted thing. I'm on record saying I didn't agree with the mass deportations. I said I was okay with it for the criminals, and I still believe that there's technology and there's ways for them to reach out to Mexico, Belize, Jamaica, all these different places, and to be able to communicate with those places to have the criminals' names and find their locations. But they just don't want to.
They don't want to take those steps.
They don't want to take the steps to do it, because I believe in 2020.
How do you find that here, though?
What do you mean?
I mean, if they came here illegally, a lot of these people have aliases. A lot of these people are not using their real name then. So to communicate back to a foreign country, try to get a name of a foreigner who came here illegally, there's no way that they're here using their real names. And then you just going to be able to put it in the database and find their real name. That's why I'm like, the resources, the time, and the money it will cost to do that is really not realistic.
You think so, though? Because you got to think of it right now.
Yeah.
Like, look, just for them to come down here and start the protest, it's $134 million. ICE's budget is about $1 billion. Their bonus for this is $42,000 in a year. So you break that down quarterly, what's that? That's like damn near $12,000 every quarter. Whereas in the average bonus in the government is $2,500.
Y'all see
so
that?
they getting.
Yeah, but now you're talking about manpower.
Nah, but I'm just saying, like, they're
Now
putting a lot of money
hours.
in. They're putting a lot of money in doing it this way. In my opinion, they could have put a lot of money in doing it a different way.
They using your money. It's taxpayer money.
I was going to say, so speaking of money, remember when COVID happened, how the world shut down, people were dying and things like that? It was like for the economy, it was a good balance, because now that's people you don't have to pay on Social Security, all those public money that was going to people who they didn't really want to pay to. What about the people that are illegal immigrants that are getting the money? So like right now, rent is high. You got illegal immigrants taking up apartments that people that pay normal rent have to pay, but we don't get paid under the tables because we're paying taxes into Social Security and things like that. These people are eliminating all that because they're getting paid under the table. That's what, for them, it's better for them to do that than for people that are actual citizens. So I do feel like it's a economy move where the money has something to do with it, because we got all this parking taken up by illegal immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going for them on a discount while we're paying for it.
What about the people on?
Right.
What about the people on government housing that live in apartments that are driving up the prices of your apartment because they're not paying the adequate amount? It's like, to me, I'm just looking at it like,
no, but
it's a push and a pull for every side.
American citizen, and
but we're advocating to get rid of that as well.
No, I understand that, but
as a budget
for
cut.
people that are here, that's their right to get it. But that's like you going to somebody's party uninvited and then you leaving with like multiple plates.
My thing with that short is that like
you didn't even come. Like, you get what I'm saying?
And then it's to the point where a lot of, it's like you get people like situations I heard of, like an immigrant might come out here and say she's a maid or something that works for you, like you said, getting paid under the table. You're paying them. They're living with you for free. And then they sending all that money they make with you out
Back
to
home.
somewhere else. Yeah. So a lot of those things are basically going on where they want the US dollar to stay here and be everything else while they're building. You might got 2 or 3 homes in another country or another state. And while you out here, then you just get up and leave.
You think that's the average case though of people who sending money back home?
I'm just giving an example.
I think it's a high
majority
case.
are sending money home.
But I'm
for
saying
sure.
you think they're sending it home to have 3-4 houses?
I'm not
Some
saying
people. So
that.
I do know this. I know.
I don't
my-
think the
if you-
reason really matters.
know-
I don't think
if
the
my
my
reason.
family
I don't
is
think
out
the
there.
reason
If I'm the only
matters.
one that made it out here, my family's out there,
Yeah,
and
you
I
had
know
sense
my money is
obligation.
quadruple. Yes.
No, I'm
It's
not
a
saying
sense-
I'm not saying that they're not doing that, but I'm saying as in like we're making it sound like they're doing it for a leisure thing, like
So
niggas out there balling and
No,
we just
no,
sending
no, I'm
extra
not
cash.
saying that.
That's
I'm
not
not
what
saying.
I was
I'm
giving an
saying.
example.
I'm
Yeah.
saying the reason don't matter. I'm saying if you eliminate them taking that money and spending it there, that money will be circulating here.
But I do know this. I do know because I had coworkers that were doing this. They have family that are from Mexico and they're building houses in Mexico with the money they're making out here because
That's
it's
all
way
I'm
cheaper
saying.
out there. They
Yeah.
are doing that. But I'm gonna just say this: it's going to be a reason why they're doing it, and at the end of the day, it's based on dollars. I feel like what they're trying to do is just eliminate all the extra money that's going out to people who are not American citizens. At the end of the day, I think that's one of the main reasons why they're really doing it. Just immigrants in general. Hispanics out here are like the face front because they have the numbers. So that's why they feel like they're being picked on, but it's really for all of them. At the
Y'all
end of the
Look,
day.
bro. Hold on. We gotta be real because you gotta go back in history. I know we like to say the black and the brown thing, right? But if you with the slavery in Mexico, but if you go look, the second president of Mexico was black. So when all of that taking in the slaves things was going on, they had a black president, which they wind up often later on for that very reason, quote unquote, right? So even that has an asterisk on it because it wasn't like a full Hispanic president going out and saying, oh yeah, we finna abolish slavery. No, dude was black, bro. Like you got 1% black in you, the one drop rule, your ass is black. So they had a black president back then. That's how that went on. But the mass immigration, if you go look at the history during the civil rights and all of that, black people were against it. Go look it up. They were against it. They were putting articles in the newspaper. They were having rallies. They were against it because they saw what was happening. What was happening, it was letting in mass immigrants to displace the workforce here. Why? Because you are an American citizen. I got to pay you 401k. I got to give
Medical.
you dental. I got to give you medical. I got to
That
give
costs.
you this. You get hurt on the job. You got workers' comp.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is eliminate as many of you as possible and get as many of them that I can pay half the price and work them 3, 4, 5 times as
and
hard.
they're happy and they're not complaining.
They're not complaining.
Which
and
I
if they
agree
get
with.
hurt, I'm getting them out of here. They call it the great displacement. If you look at like France and shit like that, that's what's happening out there too, right? So that's what really was going on is we were slaves. We built the country, blah, blah, blah. We got all these skills. Now that slavery is over, guess what? Now we got rights, right?
Yeah,
exactly. And then even whites weren't even getting jobs.
Because
That's
they
how the
couldn't do the
unions
jobs
used to
we were
start.
doing. We were out there cultivating the grounds and stuff like that. So the money that we were doing, we had the skills to do. We just didn't have the money to buy our own property. So that's
But-
why they were bringing them in. But I was going to say this, though. Do you feel like with the humane way they doing it, do you feel like it's inhumane or humane? The way they rallying them up, going to schools and things like that.
I don't think humane is the problem because how else can you
Can you
rally
do
them?
it?
Let's be honest. How else do you want them to rally them up? They could put out a notice on Instagram and say, hey, all you illegal immigrants, can you please show up today at 12 and I'm going to take you back to your hometown? Do you think they're going to really show up?
No.
No, the element of surprise has to work. They're not going to be busting in apartment buildings and shit like that. It's like, oh,
Like
shit,
SWAT.
they slipping over here. Grab them over here. Oh, they in public over here. Grab them over there. Because realistically,
they treat it the same way they get fugitives.
any place they get them, y'all gonna say it's wrong. So I don't think it really matters. That's a no-win situation.
Yeah.
How do you round up illegal immigrants to get them out of here?
One thing too,
Let a nigga
though,
graduate school.
Hey, that's what they
my
there
thing
was-
too with it though is that like it changes every 4 years. So it's like what you just said. At that point in time, there might have been a Democratic president or a Republican president that said, "Hey, we want you to come in. This is what we're doing." So if I'm somebody that's in a different area that maybe be more impoverished, or at least I have the illusion that that place is better, and I can get a leg up, or I can come somewhere and have a better life, why would I not take advantage of that? I feel like us as people go at the lower hanging fruit, for lack of a better term, which is the people that are just trying to do their thing. That's not. I'm not saying that there's not people that are not out here to get away
Be
from
criminals.
crimes and you know get certain benefits, but why don't we look at the American government that just put in the displacement theory, knowing that, okay, we're going to have these people come in here, take your jobs, you're going to get mad at them, and then y'all are going to beef, and then what happens after that? We still
Well-
really don't take anything out. And then on top of that, look, right now Trump is doing this. This is Trump's last term. So
I understand.
but this is the way the shit works. Where
How
it's
does,
like,
how does he get the third term if he
Ain't no third
ain't
term.
no,
Ain't no
look,
third term.
what I'm saying is
didn't they
this
say
is-
something about
No,
It has
he's
to be-
just saying that. Ain't no third term.
what I'm saying is that, like, if you're looking around, this the same shit that happened last time with bro. It's a lot of hysteria, a lot of things going on. It ushers in a Democratic president, and then what? In the next 4 years, they say you could come back in. So it's like somebody has to make a law that caps it forever.
But
Then.
what I'm
But
gonna
look-
say this: what
in
about
my
the
opinion,
people
if you
who-
want that.
the people who came in here legally? I'm gonna just say this. I'm speaking for a person who came here legally. If they were an immigrant and they did the due process, how do you think they feel? Where like, look, I have to go through all this due process to become an American citizen, and the people that's living here that are illegal immigrants and they just doing willy nilly, and they're not being punished. Don't you think they have some type of resentment towards them?
I think
For sure,
some
because
do,
a lot
but
of them
they have
voted.
to do it
A
the
lot
right
of
way.
them are the ones that voted for Trump. The Latin for Trump and all. It was a
But-
lot of them.
And I think some do, but something that we're missing is that a lot of these people that come from different countries, whether it be Africa, Mexico, these people are more likely to assimilate to right-wing politics because of being more,
Conservative.
not even necessarily being more conservative. It's just on some master says type shit. I'm gonna follow the law. I'm gonna
think people
This is-
gonna
this is-
obey the
this is-
rules.
This is the thing too. This is what a lot of things that I've seen and heard from the ones that are here legally. They're basically getting to a point where they are tired of seeing it themselves, to the point where it's like, if you are so happy about being from your country, but you out here, they had the dude on the news slamming the American flag, dragging it.
Yeah.
Then you in here with your flag. Go put up an American flag and be on something, act like you want to be here in America. Most of them are crashing out about how proud you are about your country, but don't want to be there. So at that point, sometimes it
agree.
becomes mental.
I agree.
And let's
Yeah.
keep it a buck, bro. These same countries that they running from don't want mass immigration in their countries. I
No.
just seen in 2018, Mexico had a huge problem with the Honduras coming over there, and they was trying to kick them out of the country.
Facts.
Then you had the Haitians beefing with the was it the
They
Dominicans?
been wanted the
They
Haitians
wasn't
out of there.
they wasn't letting them in there. They wasn't treating them in their hospitals. They tell them they come into their hometown and they was fucking up the hometowns. They don't have no type of ethics like the people who grew up there. So if you look at any other country around the world, they don't want mass immigrations in their countries either. Why? Because the peoples come from these shithole countries with the shithole ethics, and then they start
it.
acting like they
Infest
did
the
in the
rest.
shithole country they come from, and they turn the country they're in into that shithole. Look at
Well, this
Paris,
is what
look
I
at
was gonna-
France.
I
That's what's going
I was
on.
gonna say this. Hold on, Colin. When you said when they come from those type of countries and things like that, I'm glad you said the continent of Africa, because when we went to Egypt, you notice there is no social help. There is no EBT food stamp. You either work or you don't eat at all, right? So most of these people are Republicans because they feel like, okay, I got to work to get it. They don't rely on no type of government help. So they do come here. They are on a white ring tip because they think work hard, make money, be successful. So a lot of them are conservative when they do come over here. That's what they think. They think if they work hard, capitalism's gonna make me rich, and I'm gonna have to live the American dream.
And then you got to look, the shit jobs that nobody wants here are dream jobs for them
Exactly.
based off of the pay that they get here compared to what they would be getting back home. That's why they come over here, shut the fuck up, put their head down and just do it, because they like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting paid this
This
back
every-
home. I'd had to work 6 months for this 2-week pay.
Everything you said is correct about countries not wanting mass immigration. The one thing you're forgetting is that America's been predicated on being the home of the free, land of the brave. So when you predicate a country on being all inclusive, you can
selling.
come here, live the American dream, have what you want, dibble and dabble in the benefits of capitalism.
Yes.
You're creating a reality for not just Americans, but for everybody else. And this has been something that's been going on before you were born.
No,
So it's like-
who said it was for everybody? That American dream was for American citizens. That
And
ain't for the world.
Or for the elite immigrants that they want. Like, remember World War II with the Germanys, they had all the Jew scientists come over. Yeah, we'll pick you because you can help us build NASA. Like, you got to be able to contribute.
But-
Those are the ones that they're really looking for, bro.
But even that's not necessarily the case. If you look in history, look at Ellis Island, places where immigrants stopped before coming to America. This has been something that, again, America has promoted because at a point in time, it was beneficial for the economy. Now at one point, and again, you can compare this to
When
and
was
people,
the benefit? When you talk about the industrial time, we ran those jobs. When the people were going to war, blacks had those jobs. So we were creating it. Are you talking about helping everyone else outside?
I'm talking about in general. It wasn't just blacks.
Blacks ran a lot of
we're
the
talking about
black
during the
and
Great
women.
Migration from the South to the.
Yeah, and then from the south to the north.
But
And
there
when
was
we had
pro-
those
you gotta think
industrial
about it,
jobs,
there was
a lot of us working those though, bro.
There were Spaniards, Germans, Jews,
Irish. Yeah.
That's a big population, and those
Italian.
people were able during the Great Depression and before that, they were able to come over here and assimilate and then become white. So they had a leg up, and those are immigrants. So it's like they had a benefit, and people saw that. America saw it as a benefit to the economy.
This is the problem.
You can hold on. You can compare this situation to, and this is how I look at it. Like America creates a problem and then gives you a solution. It's low key the same thing, and niggas might get on me for comparing it to this, but Hitler during that time when Germany was going through a famine and shit was fucked up, he turned to the Jews and said, "It's their fault. They're taking your jobs. They're taking your money. They're in the streets. Get rid of these niggas." And those weren't the Jews that we talk about that's owning UMG.
Like the Polish
And so what we did was he dehumanized them, and then we looked at it when he rounded them up and cremated them. We said, you know what? Fuck it. That's okay because you're right. Now I have better jobs. Now I have more things. But then a few years go down the line, and what has really changed? So that's my only thing is
It's
like,
the same.
to me, it's the same play out of that book. It's the same play out of that book.
Even that Hitler stuff, that stuff is starting to get, a lot of that stuff is getting debunked, and a lot of that is looking funny in the light. We can go down that another episode, but the problem with everything that y'all saying, everything that you're saying right now is, like I said, a lot of them been here for 20, 30 years, and that's why people are feeling sorry for them. Like, they've been here so long. But we say this all the time.
Seniority.
Silence is agreement. Once you come over here and you assimilate to the system and you're silent to it, that means you agree to it. So you came over here knowing for a fact you had to get your paperwork. You
Not
had
necessarily
family,
though, Viral, because you got to think about
you
it.
had family who got paperwork. You chose not to get it. You knew for a fact if you got caught without paperwork, you was out of here. So how do you get upset that you got caught without paperwork and now you got to get out of here?
Instead of looking at it
Not-
like
not-
I had a good
hold
run.
on.
Y'all had a good run.
You have a point, but not all the way, because you got to think about it. Like I said, each 4 years or each 8 years, it changes. And certain presidents say, hey, this is a place of asylum. You have certain mayors, certain governors, and then certain presidents that don't want to enact certain laws or have certain pressures on a state level. So they leave a state. And then it's federal. There's separation from federal and state. Where it's like, yeah, that might have been the case, but you might have came to California, and for the most part, when we had Mayor Eric Garcetti, it don't matter. It's like,
Obama was
Yeah,
deported.
but even in asylum, you got to fill out paperwork even under
with that,
asylum. You cannot just get asylum just because you ran here.
Obama was deporting people in what? That was 2008 when Obama was in, right?
Yeah, he was doing
Biden was deporting people. Like, how do you not know or be aware that at some point this could be you? The only thing is, like you just said, is that you've been here so long, you feel like you embraced, you work, or you're not committing crime, so you're not going to get deported. I was in prison with niggas on Insane Crip. They was coming to grab the Mexicans and deporting them. When they got release date from here, sent their ass back to Mexico or sent their ass back to wherever they was at. If you didn't have papers, you was done. You serving your time here, get your ass back. And I'm in touch with some of them right now from Sinaloa that holla at me that can't come back. And they want to come back, but they got to come back
the right way.
No, if they want to come back the right way or they're going to sneak back over here, they might do shit like that. But other than that, they not tripping. They ran their bags up and now they back with their peoples. But it just depends on whose perception is looking at it, who's taking it, and who's really affected by it.
And there's a process for everything, even asylum. You had to fill out paperwork. You had to have proof, and you couldn't be a criminal back home. You couldn't be wanted back home and get asylum here. No, your ass was going back to face persecution back home.
Asylum, you don't get that right away. Even if your gun right now, like with the war between Russia and Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? The Ukraine people can't just come over here and just like, hey, look, we need to seek asylum. No, it's still a process you got to wait. You just don't jump through the line, but they will try to look out for you.
But the thing is, I don't know if you remember when we was in Colombia, and this is why I feel like you should fight for your freedom if that's the case, because in a sense, when we was in Colombia, we used to ask them like, damn, y'all never, well, I did. Like, you never want to go to the US? They like, man, I tried. Like, it takes years for them to even get on the board or the ballot to even get the papers to leave Colombia to get to the US. So I don't know how it is in every other country. That's just from what I learned.
But you got to think, look at the numbers that came out here. That's how many people want to come here. So how fast do you think paperwork is going to take when you have that many people from every country trying to get here in the world, around the world?
I'm not saying they're going to go fast. I'm saying this is why we see what's going on outside today, because now they know once they get back, they might not make it back.
And you have the birthright citizenship. You have people who are getting married. They come over, they get married, and they're considered a citizen. All of these things are like, okay, well.
When they get married, that was a process too, because even if you got married, you had to be married to somebody for a certain amount of time before you be considered a legal citizen. You couldn't just get married one day and then like 10 days later you get divorced. You know
and let's keep it a buck.
A lot of people,
it was a scam. Nigga.
Yeah.
I personally know people who was getting paid $10,000, $20,000. Hey, marry
Just
this
to get
person.
here. That was a scam. Fact.
They go take pictures here when the rep come. They got pictures in the house, and then they got to be at the house, but she don't really live there, or he don't really live there, or he has a real girlfriend here that he really wants to marry, but he's doing this for the green. Man, come on, man. We know what the fuck is going on. You have locks and doors on your house for a reason. Now imagine your house is a country. You guys are telling people, take all the windows down, take all your windows out, take all your doors off, leave your doors open at all hours of the day, leave your windows open, and just let people come in and out your house.
That's not what we're telling them. That's what the American government has told them.
No.
We don't have the power. The American government told them that.
I'm saying by y'all saying, oh, just let anybody in. That is the equivalent of it. Would you go upstairs in your bedroom and go to sleep with the motherfucking doors off the hinges?
I'm not saying
anybody come in and out. No.
I'm on record saying that I think that once Trump started his presidency, that it's okay to close the borders at that point, because with everything going on, like, you know, we had a couple years back, we had $1 million or something like that being spent in tax dollars in New York on immigrants, right? Instead of putting it towards American citizens. There are things that say, okay, we need to put a cap on this. That's cool. But causing a mass hysteria to me, rounding people up, niggas is coming out their house, taking the trash out that they've lived at for 20 years, kids inside, they not coming back, locking niggas in buildings, people can't graduate, tackling old people. It's like,
but you just said, hold on, but you just said for 20 years, if you've been here for 20 years and have not taken the steps to get your paperwork, why the fuck should we feel sorry for you? You had 20 years, nigga.
And then
2 decades.
And the same way, what happened in Chicago? What was them dudes they brought in? The
Venezuelans.
The Venezuelans. The same way you view them, and you feel like when that happens, they should go automatically go snatch them up, right?
For what, the Venezuelans?
Like when the Venezuelans was taking over apartments and shit, do you
the
feel
ones
like,
that took over the apartments? Because look at what they was doing. You walk around with sticks and AKs.
This is what I'm finna get at, though. The same way you view them is people out here that view all people the same.
I understand that.
All
I completely understand
that. So they
that.
feel like instead of them basically, Trump is basically looking at it in the sense of, why do I got to decipher and do everything else when you had enough time to do that yourself? You want me to go decipher and pick y'all out a hat of who's good and who's not when I can just scoop all y'all up and y'all come in the right way?
I'm gonna say this though. I do like the community resistance that people are doing, because one thing we do always talk about is how stand up for something or you'll fall for anything. They are standing up for it. Even if they haven't got their paperwork, they at least standing up for it and saying they don't want to go back home. You get what I'm saying? I can respect that. I can respect the community resistance. I can respect the fact that if they go fight for their freedom here, they going out without a bang. They not just trying to give up themselves willingly.
This is my thing.
If this is the land of the free, I'm gonna fight for it.
Hold on. Obama been getting people out of here. None of y'all gave a fuck.
That's all I was saying.
Nobody cared. Y'all only care because it's being put in your face on the news.
Yeah,
when
of
Obama
course.
was silently doing the exact same thing, he was having kids in cages, nigga.
Yeah, it was a guy.
Parents over here, kids
displacement.
over here in cages, and the kids in the cages disappearing. They losing hundreds of thousands of kids. Nobody gave a fuck.
Generation Z was also like 10 years old.
Not only, I ain't talking about Gen Z. I'm just talking about, because it ain't only Gen Z. That's
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's a big part of the population that's came into age.
Biden was recently getting rid of people too.
I'm just saying.
When he was in office.
It's more than Gen Z that's out there riding
sure.
all of that. None of them gave a fuck. Not only did none of them give a fuck, I don't see none of y'all saying, let's stand in solidarity with the Haitians. Let's stand in solidarity with the Jamaicans. Let's stand in solidarity with the Chinese, the Jap. No other race of immigrant is even being brought up other than Hispanics.
But whose fault is that, though? Is that his play? Wait. You think Jamaicans, when they're running from ICE, are thinking about Hispanics? Wait, do you think that at the moment they're thinking about self-preservation or they're thinking about somebody else?
This the difference.
But you're speaking to the are you speaking to the spectator or the person who's actually being hunted?
I'm speaking to all of them, because I don't see Jamaicans on TikTok saying, where the Hispanics at? Why y'all not standing with us?
And I'm glad you brought this point.
I don't see
I'm
it.
glad you brought this point because I believe that in this day and age, we are so caught up in the content bubble. Again, these people, these Hispanics, these blacks that are on social media, they have a few jobs to get clicks, to get views, to get engagement. So if I'm Hispanic and I say, where the fuck are the blacks at? Obviously, you're going to have people who say that because they want to get the clicks, they want to get the views, they want to get the engagement. And if I say, shout out to the blacks, that gets less engagement, clicks, and views than fuck the blacks. So hold on, same for the blacks.
Show me, okay, now show me any other illegals doing that.
And we talked about dead internet. And this is why I'm glad we bring this up. We talked about dead internet theory. We talked about bots on the internet.
Correct.
And how a lot of these things are people that you can't even trace back to nothing. Y'all don't think that to a certain degree that has any place in this situation when it comes to people arguing on social media.
I actually brought up the dead internet theory with the comments. I'm speaking on videos of real people saying that, hey, my aunt just got deported, this, that, and the third. They're down there saying, where the fuck is everybody else at? I don't see any other immigrants doing that. Not only do I not see that, I don't see any other immigrants speaking up for those immigrants. If you are for mass immigration for everybody, shouldn't you be standing for the rights of everybody? Because when we was doing civil rights, everybody got rights off the back of us.
Yeah, but that's what we...
And we spoke for everybody. We didn't just speak for niggas.
That's what white women, because
niggas were speaking for everybody. Black women were standing up for white women. We were standing up for Hispanic. Like, we were standing up for everybody. When the Stop Asian Hate happened, I seen niggas out there. When the shit happened in Paris, I seen niggas putting Paris flags in their shit. Whenever anybody
niggas
else
out there still yelling for
let's just think about it. How many people do you think that are tweeting this, that are online with thousands of followers, that are famous on TikTok and Instagram, bringing attention to this part of the situation?
They did it.
Are immigrants?
All I'm saying is,
or are they just people here to
if you are against deportation, you should be against deportation for everybody. You should be calling out to all immigrants saying this is wrong for everybody. I don't see nobody doing that. That's calling out other ethnicities. I don't see it.
You should call out all immigrants and say, meet up here. We down here, we protesting, everybody pull up.
I mean, in Los Angeles, though,
we got a big ass Belizean population.
But the majority,
let's just be real.
The majority of Hispanics is Mexican. Are we now just refuting that because you guys want to get this point?
Are majority Mexican?
No,
because
I'm pretty sure.
No, girl just told us they got what? How many different Mexicans out here?
And I honestly have seen pictures of other races of Hispanics out there. Again, is social media versus reality.
No, I'm talking about somebody we know in real life.
I'm talking about this though, bro. You got the Pacific Islanders as well. You get what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. That if you're gonna, we're just focusing on Hispanics because I feel like at this point Trump is making it seem like racial profiling. It's like they're targeting them because that's what it seemed like. Because that's what's on the news.
It's like the beef with Mexicans against Trump. Yeah,
exactly. It's literally like that's what's being put out there. It's more so it's just about them. But it's not.
In 2023,
no, I was just trying to say they're making it about the Mexicans because that's what's all being pushed. But he don't fuck with nobody, really. If you're not,
and that's
really
all.
right.
That's all I'm saying.
That TikToker, right?
Who Trump? Trump don't fuck with nobody.
I know
that black
dude, right? Yeah.
Nah, but this is what I'm saying. They're making it solely about themselves when the whole issue of immigration should be for immigrants across the board. Yeah, we could say self-preservation or whatever, but when you only speaking about you and yourself and not the plight of all immigrants, you make it seem like you don't give a fuck.
I don't think
because
that's
I guarantee, man, stop it.
I think that's you doing that because you want to villainize what they're doing.
No, I'm not villainizing.
Straight up.
Okay, give me an honest answer. If it was just Haitians being deported right now, would we be having those motherfuckers?
Why would I not give a fuck?
No,
why would I not give a fuck?
No.
If they was rounding Haitians up.
If they was rounding Haitians up,
I'm like, why would I not give a fuck?
Would they be marching in the streets right now with them flags?
There would be Haitians there probably.
No, with them.
What do you mean?
With
the
them.
Mexican flag.
That's what he's telling you.
There's blacks out there with them right now.
Let me respond. There's multiple races that jump out for every protest. When we talk about protests, 40% of the people that go are there with good hearts. 60% of people there to rob, loot, steal, and fuck shit up, drink, and have a good time. So out of the 40% of the people that are good, yes, I believe that there would be multiple races there for Haitians, multiple races there for when it was Stop Asian Hate, multiple races there when it was the shit for Mexico, multiple races there when it's the shit for BLM. If you go, It's multiple races. You just put a fucking white girl on your shit and then called her a bot. Like you to fit your narrative. But there's multiple races out there.
It wasn't my narrative.
There's multiple.
But
that's his narrative. He called her a bot.
Hold on.
Antifa. He
Hold on.
No,
Let me get my shit off. No, let me get my shit off. Because I just talked to Hispanics today. He said the white people was down there fucking shit up, and it wasn't none of his people. And they said they for sure think it was Antifa because they was all there on some peaceful shit. All of a sudden, some white people showed up, shit catching on fire.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's not negating my point of multiple races being there.
I said, damn, I don't know what she doing out here because she ain't Hispanic, so she might be Antifa because this is what they telling me. All the white people that show up where they was at started fucking shit up.
And the news is amplifying.
And the news is not showing it. And I said, see, this is what happened during BLM. This is what we was telling y'all about.
Yeah,
he said, yeah, I see what you was talking about now.
That's
Just
true.
a fucking Hispanic told me this.
And the news is amplifying as if they're down there just looting and they're giving it, making it seem like the immigrants are doing something terrible. It's not really them that's doing it. It's the people that actually are American citizens that's repping the Mexican flag, looting and doing the most, bro.
That's that's what I just said about the 60% of people who go to fuck shit up, riot, and loot.
That's giving them more so a bad rep as if that's them, not any other.
It is, but look, the same, but bro, the same thing happened with us. Like, I don't understand that's my point. What is the end game with that point?
What
is the end game with that point?
You can't compare. You saying the same thing happened to us. Niggas was getting their brain.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's the same thing with us, as in 40% of us went out there to peacefully protest. And then you had 60% of people that went out there to bullshit. Then you have law enforcement, crooked law enforcement, and shadow organizations that went out there to incite riots so that the law enforcement could get a green light to harm our people. That's the same shit that's going on right now.
Hold on.
How is that not the same shit?
Would you go to another country, yell about how proud you are to be an American, burn their flags, tear up their property, wave the American flag, and then cry about going back to America when they grab you and say, you know what, we sending you back to the country you love so much.
Viral.
Because that's what's going on.
How many times have Black Americans said, we don't like what's going on with us in America? America's not necessarily for Black people. If they said take your ass back to Africa tomorrow, would you want to do that?
Hold on.
Would you want to do that?
Hold on.
Would you want to do that?
A large portion of us are indigenous to America.
Would you want to do that?
A large portion of us are indigenous to America.
But would you want to do that?
But you're not making sense because we all didn't come off a boat from Africa. That's how. Some of us are from here.
America, you can be proud to be American and understand that it's a convoluted, complex history. That's what I don't understand. You can be proud to be American and still not like certain things about America and the way they treat you as a people.
Yes, but you can't come here.
I don't understand that.
But you can't come here, burn them fucking American flag, tear up American property, say how much you hate America, but won't go back to the country you love so much.
Even when we bring up Africa, we act like everything in Africa is bad. It's Africans.
I'm not saying everything is bad. I'm just saying that
most Africans don't want to come to America. If they're living good in Africa, they don't want to come here. They talk like, ain't this the place where people kill themselves?
If they're living good.
All type of stuff out there regardless. But majority of them ain't just want to just come out there. Exactly.
I think what maybe Viral was probably say this. Instead of Mexicans promoting the Mexico flag, they need to promote immigration as a unity. Stand as a unit. Like, look, we're Mexican, but we want to stop the immigration for all. Do you think that would make it more of a softer blow for us to have more sympathy towards the cause?
No, because I think because
it's more of a human thing, not a race thing.
No, because the last
what? They're making it a race thing.
Everybody's making it a race thing.
I'm asking.
Who's making it a race thing?
Because again,
y'all making it a race thing. They're making it a race thing. Everybody's making it a race thing.
No, when we said we against immigration, get all the immigrants out, we clearly stated the very first stream we did, we're talking about all immigrants. They said, no, y'all hate Hispanics, so y'all from Long Beach. They keep keying in on us with Hispanics because of where we're from. But when we did the stream, the first time Trump brought it up, we said, no, Haitians, your ass gotta go. Jamaicans, your ass gotta go. The Japanese, your ass gotta go. I don't give a fuck what you are. If you ain't here legally, your ass gotta go. And we can sit here and say stolen land, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Your ass is here living by these stolen land laws. So therefore you agree with them. So don't cry about the laws when they go against you all of a sudden. Because for the last 20 years, you've been cool with it.
So at that point, they need to be accountable, and they should have did the paperwork, and now you got to deal with the consequences at this point. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, at that point, within those 20 years, they should have got their act together while they were here.
I don't understand how you could sit here and say somebody been here 30 years. There was
What's
30
life
years
change?
to do
Life,
the mother-
this is my thing. Like
paperwork.
life didn't change for me. Life didn't change for you. You got more money, went on more trips, fucked more hoes, got a bigger house.
But how can okay?
And a lot of us
let me
did
say
that.
this though. Let me say
A
this.
lot of us
thing,
did
Kylie.
that.
How-
Up until the
You can't say that.
How can you agree to get the criminals out of here then? In a sense, because that's still tearing up some of their families. Some of these criminals are still the immigrants' family members at that, in a sense too. So you like it's cool to take somebody daddy or somebody brother if they're a criminal or been convicted of something, get their ass up out of here. You think they still gonna be standing with you then?
It doesn't matter. You to me, being a criminal and committing criminal offenses is different than just coming over here, working a job and building a family.
How you coming over here illegally is a criminal
It's
offense.
different.
No,
It's
but
to me-
it's a criminal
to
it's
me,
a
it's
criminal
different
offense.
because you feel like
Okay,
one
but
is
it's different.
softer than the
Is
other.
it not the
To
law?
me, it's different.
But is it not the law?
We know that, bro.
Oh,
we know
okay,
that it's
it-
not black and white. I just said that people do things that may be considered wrong for the right reasons.
This is
All
That's
the
not,
time.
That's not the argument.
All the time.
But that's not
Every
the
criminal,
argument.
every criminal feels like they're doing something. They're doing something right.
No, they don't.
They
No, they
don't.
don't. So when niggas go and sell dope and shoot niggas, you think they're doing? Do you think they think they're doing the right thing?
Yes,
nigga.
nigga.
What do you think? Yes, nigga.
Yes.
If somebody do something to him and I go get the nigga that did something to him, I feel like I did something right.
justified,
If
yeah.
I sell dope to go feed my family, I feel like I'm doing something right.
And how many times have people got arrested and you said, damn, that's fucked up?
Hey, but
What?
He was just trying to feed his family.
But Kylie, you said
What the fuck are
that
you
don't make it
talking
not
about?
right.
What do you
wrong?
mean? What am I talking about? I'm showing that it's not black and white. That you might have did something for the wrong reason,
if-
but
if
for
he-
the right
but you
reason.
make-
But it
you
was
making
wrong.
my point.
If
I'm not
he
making
gets-
your point.
If he gets caught selling dope, whether I think he was doing it for the right reason or the wrong reason, I can't cry about the time he gets.
Right.
Because I felt he was doing it right.
We still
Wait. We do that all the time. Niggas do free him all the time for something that nigga did.
No,
Yeah,
I
we say
do
free
you
him.
mean?
We say free him
Yes.
because we want him free,
But we know why, nigga.
Nigga, you did
You
dirt,
know,
you
you
gotta
know
do
why
the
you
time.
sitting down, nigga.
So
Do the crime,
so
do the time. That's
what's-
literally the motto.
What's the difference?
but I gotta.
I'm
but-
still gonna be like free the homie. Yes, I want you back, but we know why
So
you
then,
sitting down.
so then, me saying that they shouldn't be deported, even though they're doing something
saying
wrong.
free
What's the
homie.
difference?
No,
What do you
I said-
mean?
I know.
What's the difference?
No,
He's basically saying-
I
That's
said
there's no
no.
difference.
They did something wrong by coming.
You get what I'm
But no,
saying?
it's the
No,
same thing.
no, it's the
no,
same
no.
thing.
He's
Short.
saying, no. He's
No,
saying,
I'm
y'all
saying the
free the
same
homie
thing.
even though he did a crime. He's saying
Don't deport him. Free the homie, even though he did a
Short,
crime.
no,
It's the
short.
same
listen,
thing,
listen
bro.
what I said in the
It's the
beginning.
same thing.
I said he agrees that the criminals should be deported.
I do.
He said they are criminals too. You came over here a criminal.
It's a crime. It's a crime.
You're a criminal.
But
no
no,
matter
but-
what,
but one thing
no
you-
matter if it's a white collar, no matter if you were selling dope.
a crime is crime.
Because you view it that selling dope is worse than you sneaking in. They view it as you're the same.
And that's fine.
But one thing-
At the end of the day, the law has they have the overall decision.
damn.
So we sitting here arguing, having a discussion.
We're not
Hey,
But at the end
Kylie,
of-
We're
One
not.
thing you
We're,
did-
we're literally
we're
having a
having-
discussion.
God damn,
Okay,
Kylie.
y'all are too semantics on words. Arguing, having a discussion, a debate, all the same shit.
My nigga, you're trying to
if-
separate the level of crime and saying, well, this crime is okay because I view it as
Kylie.
less serious than this crime. So send these criminals back, but let these criminals stay.
But Kylie,
Because I don't think that's a
Hold on.
crime.
One
If that-
thing,
if that's-
you said
yeah.
one thing. You said we niggas got bigger houses, got bigger trips, and all that other shit, right? But you know when they have mass immigrants in the community, they're all buying up the houses. That makes it hard for the American citizen who are working here legally to buy a house. The housing market is fucked up right now. So you just said
How many
we're-
immigrants do you
hold
think
on,
make
let me
more
finish.
than the
No,
average
no,
American
let
citizen?
me finish, dog. I just bought a house, nigga. That shit was expensive as fuck, bro. And that's because the house market is so high because people that are buying homes here aren't legal people. They're buying up the housing market because what they're doing is having multiple families in one household. They build up. Once this family get a household, then the next family gets another household because they're doing it all together. What I'm saying is it makes it harder for the people that are actually here trying to buy the home, hard to buy.
We just had a conversation about companies buying up blocks and then leasing and renting these homes. So again, wait, before we attack the lower hanging fruit, for lack of a better
Nah,
term,
look,
which
this
is
is
people,
facts, bro.
why not go at the places
So you
that the
saying
leasing
East LA
companies that
I'm
buy
saying-
these
so you
blocks
saying East
and,
LA
and rent
got a
these
whole bunch-
places
no,
out?
hold on. You're saying East LA neighborhoods got a whole bunch of rental properties and things like that?
I don't know what specifically East LA has, so I'm not going to speak on something I don't know.
The
But
city
what
of
I
Whittier.
do,
But do you know?
but I do know that there's because we
Hold on, by
talked
his
about
own,
it.
hold on, by
We
his own
talked
logic.
about
off
it.
of
Hold on,
that.
by
What
his
company
own
do you
logic.
know that they bought?
No, by his own logic, you saying them being here didn't affect us because we traveling, we doing this, we doing that. Well, guess what? The criminals were here too, and we still were doing that, but yet you still want to deport them. So what's the difference?
Because if you're going
The
to pick
criminals being
somebody
here
to
didn't affect
deport,
you.
then it should be the people that maybe have done something wrong to American citizens.
They done something wrong when they came illegally. That's something wrong.
to you.
No, that's
you.
a,
No,
that's
to
a
the law,
to the
not
law.
to me.
To the law.
By the law.
Yeah, by the
Not
law.
to me,
Okay.
by the law.
Because
They
we
did
don't
something
create
wrong.
the law. So it is a law to sneak over here. Again, I get what you're trying to say. It's not
it's-
wrong for them wanting American.
If
what you're saying is this.
I'm not going.
You want me to say that it's
I don't
wrong
want
because
you to say shit.
okay, well,
He wants you to believe. I get what you're trying to say.
I want
yeah,
you-
yeah, yeah.
I want you to
Niggas,
make
niggas live in this
sense.
shit.
You
No,
can-
it does
you
make
gotta say
sense. It
crime
does
make
make
no
sense.
sense.
If
Yes, it does.
you're trying to draw lines, you have to say crime is crime. You can't say one crime is harsher than another. If it's the law, if it's the law.
So if a nigga sell dope and a nigga's a pedo, which one's worse? It's both crime.
You're both going to jail.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying,
They're both
which one do you
consequences
view
to
as
it.
which one do we view
But
as
there are
worse?
it doesn't
consequences.
matter.
some-
You're
you get
going
what
to
I'm saying?
jail
I
either
know
way.
Like, come on,
So
bro.
he's
Why are we
basically
doing
How do
saying-
you
this?
know what he's saying,
Well,
nigga?
see,
You're going to
speaking
jail
of-
either
What do you?
way.
But
Are you going to jail either way? Yes or no?
You're going to jail.
You're going to jail either
Okay,
way.
so that's all we're saying.
We're not. I'm not speaking from my moral compass. We're speaking as in the law. What's under the law? The law is going to state both is a crime. You're getting consequences for
Messiah.
both.
So if we're
That's
speaking under the
exactly what
law,
you're
if
saying.
we're speaking under the law, then the conversation is signed, sealed, delivered because they're going to decide at the end of the day. I'm arguing my opinion. If you want to
You are.
argue, and I feel like that's
and
what
your
we're.
moral compass. Because again, I agree with you. Coming over
that's
here,
what creates a
what you're
conversation.
saying,
If I
coming over here-
go based off the law, the conversation is 2 minutes.
coming over here is a crime, but you're saying is if I'm coming over here just to provide and I'm being an outstanding citizen without committing any other crime besides me sneaking over here, you feel like they shouldn't get deported. That's basically what you're saying. But
That
if
is
they're
what
coming
I've been
over-
saying, yes.
But if you're saying they coming over here committing crimes, those are the worst. Those are like the pedos.
Get them out of here.
Exactly. You're basically looking at them as the scum rather than ones that snuck over here. Even though they did break a crime, but they're over here living a righteous
Okay,
life.
what's the cutoff? Because
He's-
no. What's
it
the
should be no
cutoff?
cutoff.
So if 4 million of them come over here, but
It
yet
should
they
not
good
be
citizens
viral.
and
It
all
should
that
not be a
shit.
cutoff because again, crime is crime. No matter how soft the
No,
crime is.
what
crime
is the
crime.
cutoff for allowing the number of immigrants to come over here to be law-abiding citizens? What is the number cutoff?
Well, you have to see depending on.
I don't have the
said
statistics to
economy
say,
as
yeah.
far as certain
No,
jobs.
I'm asking you. Since you saying I agree, y'all saying I agree. As long as they come over here and be law-abiding citizens and be cool, they should be able to come. So by that logic, every country in the world, people want to come. So what number should be the cutoff?
That's kind of hard
Yeah,
because
that's a
the
hard
birth rate. You gotta
question.
think about the birth rate of the United States. Like if we're running out of people,
How are we supposed to give you that without like?
Yeah. So
What do you mean? How you supposed to give
I'm
you
gonna
that?
say-
How are
I'm
we
gonna
supposed
say-
to give you a definite number when we
I'ma
don't even
say
know how many?
this.
I don't even know how many
Scenario.
people in the world.
If we
Okay,
have
how
a,
in
many-
America.
Asking y'all since y'all against this solution. What
You
what,
came
what,
because of your brother, but how?
What is
how?
the
How
solution?
many immigrants? How many immigrants came in under Biden? They have a number.
I
Again,
don't know
we
the number
don't
off the
have
top of
that.
my head.
What I'm
If
saying
you
is
could get
this
it up for me, I'll.
Okay.
Look, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me
Like,
tell you
give
this.
me
For
something to
certain-
work
Look it
with.
up.
So I'm gonna tell you this: certain scenarios. So if this country was to go to war and we had like a huge drop off in men that need to go to war, then of course you bring in immigrants. If we have a birth drop where there's not enough humans to continue to work,
Under President Biden's watch, there have been over 8 million migrants who have came in.
over 800,
8 million.
8 million.
So imagine how populated we are now.
That's
Yeah,
in
that-
California.
that
though.
might
No,
be too
no,
much.
for sure.
You got to
I know.
That
You
might be
got to
too
send them
much.
different. California is already overcrowded by us
What
alone.
that's what
But
I'm
we're
asking
speaking in
you.
California.
What is the cutoff number that should be allowed in the country if they're just coming to be good law-abiding citizens?
I can't
Mind you,
give
they're coming in, no paperwork, they just coming. We don't know who they are, what they did back home, nothing. They could have great 20 people home, came here, decided I'm gonna change my life.
I'm
and
gonna be
good
honest. I don't
law-abiding
have. I
citizens.
don't have a definitive number.
I don't have a
don't.
number. I'm not. Listen, I'm saying this.
I don't.
They need to do it properly.
You
So
can
you
say
niggas
that.
just
You can say
chatting.
no. You can say we're just
So,
chatting.
okay,
but
so these
but a
two
nigga
niggas
said give
are just
a
chatting.
nigga. A
No,
nigga
we
said
not.
wait. A nigga
These
said we're
niggas are
chatting.
just chatting.
You see what this nigga do? This nigga
Listen.
said, give me a number. Give me a hypothetical
give me a
number.
fucking
And if you
number.
can't give me one, then you're chatting.
Yes,
just
you're
gave-
chatting.
Come on, bro.
I gave you scenarios of what happened with the
Sure.
race.
That doesn't
I literally
even
just
make
said
sense, bro.
Hold on,
That
don't make
hold on,
sense.
Japan is doing right now.
He said being a pedo is worse than being an illegal immigrant and just coming across.
No, he said
What
being
if-
a pedo is worse than
Right.
selling dope.
Okay, cool. What if he was a pedo back home and decided over
be a
here I'm gonna be a
law-abiding
law-abiding citizen?
No, the crime is
We
the crime,
how the
bro.
fuck do we know who he is if he didn't go through
We
the
won't
process?
know, but we got it. I'm saying go through
Would
the
you
process.
want to live next door to somebody who you don't know where they are, you don't know where they came from, you don't know they here illegally, you don't know nothing about them, you don't know what
Because
the
if
fuck
they
they
commit
did
a
back
crime,
home?
they can just ghost. They can just ghost and get away. Yeah, that is.
Would
scary.
you
That's-
want to have a block full of neighbors like that with your kids living on that block?
We live
Unfortunately,
next.
we already kind of did that.
That's what I'm trying. Like,
I kind of already did that growing up on the east side.
bro,
It's
like
a
we
gang-
live
I
next to
grew up in-
I
niggas
said,
who
would you
shoot
want
all
your
do type of
kids
shit.
to grow up like
They
that?
do,
Not
nigga.
what you did. Would you want your kids now knowing that? Because when we was kids, we didn't know nothing about this.
No, we didn't.
We're
So, no, of
grown
course-
now, so now we know. Now we have the information. Lack of information gave us the ignorance,
All
which
right,
was
so
bliss.
Depending on your income,
We
you may
don't
not
have
have
to
a
lack
choice.
information no more.
Wording
Depending
it
on
like
income,
that,
you may
of
not have a
course,
choice.
Because if something was to happen, homie, I have no information on this person that committed a crime if they did commit a crime. So hypothetically, they hit let's just use something like a hit and run. They hit my car, they ain't got no insurance. I don't even know their name. I can just say they used to live here, but then they knock on the door and be like, hey, is this person who fit this description live here? Oh, I don't know. I don't know who live here. Then it's like, God damn, you asked out. I mean,
All I'm saying is,
y'all laughing because it's
That
truth in
shit
it's truth in
crazy.
it. Y'all laughing because it's truth in it, bro. Let's just be real. When you go to Home Depot, bro, that's why they hit Home Depot.
They
Because
did hit Home Depot.
They did hit Home Depot because it's truths and jokes, bro. We go to Home Depot when we need somebody to do the work that we don't want to do. That's why they hit Home Depot and you go holler, I'm like, hey, do you work? Yeah, I work this. They put that voice on and you pay them. So they knew where to hit. But again, if that person was to come to my house, do a job, and he did some bullshit like rob my house when I trust him to work, I'm gonna be pissed because I ain't got no information on him. I don't know his name or anything like that. So on that situation, yeah, I would be pissed because that's an illegal immigrant who basically got me. And I don't know where he went. I have no information. All I know is he be at this Home Depot. So that means I'm gonna be doing what old boy did. I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna be looking for him at that Home Depot.
Can't disagree with it. I can't disagree with that. Like I said, I think it's complex and convoluted. I think, again, that America and the American government can use money and use certain parts of the budget to make things maybe a little bit more thorough. They choose not to. That's my opinion on it. That's how I feel about it.
what resources or like what proof do you have that they're even able to do that? Or are you just saying that?
The $134 million they pulled out of their ass to go and send military troops.
We know
right
they
now.
have money, but what
The billion dollar ICE budget with the $42,000.
Okay, I know we're naming money, but you're saying communicate with their country, get the names of the bad guys.
Question: Don't we have
back?
Don't we have
and find the bad guys?
Don't we have
that are here illegally under different aliases?
Have you been to other countries? Right? There's
Yes.
the U.S. Embassy.
There are.
Am I-
Yeah, there are. Go ahead.
There are.
Okay,
So my
yes.
point is, there's a point of connection for U.S. citizens in every country or in other people to communicate from country to country, for every place that you go. If
For their citizens.
So yes, if somebody from Mexico,
They're not citizens.
comes over here, you can get their information more than likely if you're somebody from the U.S.
Who?
as a municipality, as a
Hold
government.
on.
You don't know who they are
They
here.
came illegally. What info are
You
you
know,
getting?
people get social securities, people get fake IDs, people get all type of things in the system here.
We do-
Where if they call the U.S. Embassy there, they're going to say, we don't know who that is.
You gotta go for fingerprints and DNA at that point.
We
Sure.
do the same
They
thing.
You
snuck
have nothing
across.
over here.
No, I know.
They're essentially a ghost here.
No, I know what you're saying.
How in the fuck do you go to their country to find a
Kyle-
ghost?
That means
here?
if you get DNA and fingerprints, you have to go there. If they
has
have
to be in
never,
a
if
system,
they have
of a
never been,
criminal
if
system.
you've never been arrested or nothing out here, you're not in the system. They have no way to just track you and your face pops up or have blood DNAs.
Unless it's a heinous crime. I don't know how the world police work or something like that. Unless they did a heinous crime, they're in some type of jail system, a fingerprint or some type of DNA probably will pop up.
What makes more logical sense? I get somebody in a roundup. They're illegal.
Mhm.
Me calling the fucking embassy to figure out if they're a criminal or not, or sending them back and letting the country deal with them and having them come back the right way.
Of course, sending them there because that's like your problem. It's like now they're out of our backyard. Y'all deal with them.
It's a quick fix.
And
It's
we're
a quick
talking
fix.
about, mind you, I said 8 million.
Mhm.
How long you think that'll take to call every country for every single one of these 8 million to find out
I
if
highly
they
doubt
bad
he's
or
even
not?
going to deport all 8 to keep it 100. But,
Well, that'll create jobs at that.
Deport everyone you can catch.
but
Free my motherfucking freeways up. Free this parking up. Free some of these jobs up. Free some of these homes up. Free some of this money up.
Some of
this
the jobs,
taxpayer
some of
money.
the jobs though, we don't trip. We not.
I just want to revisit it in 2 to 3 years and see what's changed.
Working on. We not.
Okay,
That's what I
you
want.
not tripping.
No,
but
we
it's
not.
a homeless nigga right now who will be happy as a motherfucker probably to take that job.
I'm just saying, it's certain jobs like certain.
What
Ain't nobody
jobs?
working in the grapevine.
Name
picking
the
grapes and
jobs.
stuff. The farming jobs.
We always say that.
Why
Bro.
do you?
Hold on.
Do you know it's hold on.
Hold on. Let me fit.
Hey,
Let me
hold on,
finish.
no,
Hold on.
sure. Hold on.
fuck
It's a
that.
man in LA right now.
House-made jobs as far as doing hospitality and
No,
hotels.
There's a
hotels.
black man in LA right now. It's a black man in LA right now that just created a whole.
I
think
seen that.
He
That's
bought
dope.
that property for the farming and to get the
That's
real
dope.
actual fruit and vegetables.
That's dope. But how many niggas is out here really talking about, nigga, I want to be a farmer?
Bro, why do y'all?
Did you not hear what he said earlier?
Crazy.
The reason people are not waking up because they're coming from places where this pay is a little different. Now, if this becomes a regular job to where they're getting minimal pay or minimum wage, people will do that job. It's not the fact that they're willing to work for the scraps to do that
hard
job.
work, bro.
And you remember just a couple months ago,
growing stuff is not hard. Growing shit ain't hard.
You remember just a couple months ago.
Cultivate the ground.
Bro, what the fuck are you niggas talking about? Do you think they only pick fruit? That in itself is damn near.
Hold on, you're gonna be doing construction.
So what do you think they do, Viral?
I've done construction.
No.
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
As a whole, people are not trying to do those type of
Why they
construction
not?
in Arizona.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I worked in construction just
Bro,
like
what are you talking about?
I'm telling you this right now. When I worked in construction, it was only a handful of us working.
What high-paying jobs do you think
Most of
immigrants
them-
have?
Why do you think it's only a handful?
Because niggas don't want to work hard doing those type of
No,
jobs,
nigga.
Get the fuck
Because
out
they
of here.
run the shit.
That's what he telling you.
The fuck is you talking about?
How the fuck I get in?
They're not hiring niggas.
How the fuck I
They
get
gotta
in?
hire a sprinkle of you.
How did I get in? Because I was
Laws.
qualified.
No.
nigga, because I was qualified.
No, they have to hire a sprinkle of you.
He's telling
to
you a
not get-
DEI
I'm
hire.
never
This
you.
nigga is crazy.
I'm telling
He's
you.
telling you a DEI
all
hire.
my
Laws,
jobs, my
why
nigga.
you have to get
Most of my
hired.
close,
And that's why-
sure.
so-
Mostly all my close homies that from the set do construction right now.
Did they get plugged in by someone they know? Was it nepotism, or did they have to get in on their own?
No, they had to get plugged in.
Listen, bro.
They tried to do it the right way. Some of them had to go about it with the line on the resumes, doing
And
everything.
that's cool. That's
But
what you gotta
I
do.
know,
That's
but
how
what I'm saying
stupid-
is, but they had to know a nigga to even get in because they don't allow
Can I
niggas.
just-
No,
Can I
this
say one thing?
how dumb niggas sound. Niggas think they only come here to pick fruit.
What do
and
they
that's
do,
it.
Viral?
Bro, do you know there was construction companies when the Ice Raids started, that the day the raid started, nobody on that job site showed up because everybody on that job site was illegal. And these are government jobs. They have government contracts making big money.
It's
What the fuck are you niggas talking about?
It's government jobs right now.
Operator.
The whole crew
Hold
didn't
on,
show
bro.
up.
Nigga,
It was illegals,
nigga, let me
nigga.
get it off. Nigga, owner, operator, nigga, you do not have to work for a company to own your fucking truck. Let me tell you this right now. If you want to be a truck driver, you want to go work at the fucking port, you can get your own truck. A company is not stopping you. Go buy your own fucking truck. It's nothing but a gang of Mexicans doing it, and they catching them at them because they out doing the work. Niggas don't want to do the jobs.
They're not owning those
Hold
trucks.
on.
shorty.
Okay, I have a question for you.
They don't own the truck.
I have a
bro.
question
you
for
don't
you.
have
You know,
to-
somebody buys the truck,
I have a
hires them, pays them a lower wage,
yep.
a lower rate than they're gonna pay American citizens.
so hold on, wait. So wait,
Drive
hold
that
on, no,
same
no,
fucking
no.
load.
The question I
So
have.
rather
hold
than
on.
pay him
You can
30,
own- bro.
I'm gonna pay you 15 because you're illegal.
So the question I have is, when we get rid of all the illegal immigrants and all of these companies and corporations can no longer take the shortcut and they have to deal with American citizens that bring a certain
Inflation, bro.
bring a certain type of status into the
Inflation.
world where they say, hey, we're only accepting
That's
this.
not how inflation works.
What? I'm not on his point.
Inflation
But you're
goes
trying
to
to
the
hold on,
government
no.
spends too
Listen to
much.
what I'm
That's
saying.
inflation.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
At that point, because corporations are always going to take shortcuts to profit, what shortcut do you think they take next? Or do you think they just say, hey, we're going to hire just as many, we're going to pay you just as much, we're going to give you just as many hours? What do you think that there's not something coming to make sure that they still continuously profit?
First of all, we can get to that bridge. We can cross that bridge when we get to it. But as of right now, guess what? Those positions are going to have to be filled. So that construction company that I was talking about that didn't have 15 to 20 people show up on that government contract, guess what? That's 15 to 20 American citizens that I know for a fact are dying to get these jobs that's going to fill those positions now. And you can no longer, instead of paying him 15, you got to pay him the 30. Instead of paying him 20, you got to pay him the 40. And you got to give him the dental, and you got to give him the medical. It ain't no more of that. That's what we focused on. All of that, trying to find the shortcuts, guess what? Their business, they don't want that to go belly up. They're going to hire people, bro. If you think they knocked you out your motherfucking mouth.
I never, hold on. I didn't say that they're not going to hire.
It's government jobs right now that are alerting and letting people know who they hired to not come to work on certain days or certain times because they're worrying about ICE coming down and running on them. Right
I
now.
got a government job, bro. So it's kind of hard for me to tell because you got to do a background check.
It's a lot of shit you gotta
It's
do.
a lot. No, bro, I have a government job, bro. It's a lot of things you got to go through. It's not as
You
easy.
work for the city.
That's a government
job.
job.
It
nigga.
is.
What
Yes,
Do you
it
know
is.
what a government contract is? If I have a construction company,
They're going to background check you.
I'm coming as me, the owner of the company. They're not background checking your whole crew, bro. If I come and I negotiate to get the contract, it's on me who to hire.
Whoever you hire, you do how you want to do it.
Who's owning those companies?
That's who's doing the
Are
work.
you saying that illegal immigrants are owning the
No,
company?
they're not.
It's
They're
somebody
doing the work.
that's legal, or if they're not, it's somebody else
And who's
above
owning them?
that
The-
hires
what
somebody
I'm trying to
legal.
get at, it's the white person. That's typically a white person that's owning that company, right?
9 times out of 10.
So at what point are they going to start hiring the people that want to do the jobs that are legal citizens?
They're-
Why would I do that if I can pay you a fraction?
If I'm the white man,
what I'm gonna pay them?
the white.
No,
but listen,
they don't realize they're saying
No,
what we're
we
trying
know
to
what
tell
we're
them to
saying.
say.
That one white person that's owning this company, yes,
don't.
they're not going to alert something. But if ICE happen to comes and that white man's there, well, you think he's going to try to save you?
No, I don't think you're gonna try to save him.
He's going to deny like, oh, I didn't know he was a fucking
Of
immigrant.
course, bro. But what I'm saying is, if they're not there for him to undercut you, he has to hire you now.
He has to. But again,
But
listen.
You're not getting hired as long as they're here.
CG, what if, all right, if he has to hire me, that means I have to be qualified, right? But how many niggas, let me finish. How many black men you know that really want those jobs that these immigrants really want to do?
A lot, nigga.
You a damn lot.
Bro, I've been in the oil. Are you dumb? I've been in the oil field down there 15
that's
years,
you.
bro.
How many? Bro.
I know plenty of niggas.
Y'all going on too much internet right now.
I know you niggas on the internet. I'm talking real life.
Nigga, I work just like you.
I know niggas who know because you feeding into the narrative
I'm
that
telling
niggas
you,
are
bro.
lazy and don't
If he,
want to
can,
work.
if he can wake up tomorrow and they tell him, hey, go find 30 black men that want to work with you.
Hold on, pause.
that's gonna
Wait,
show
pause.
the-
He had a conversation about 4 to 5 months ago, and you can go and look, where he said that too many people that he tried to give handouts to for his specific job did not follow through.
Listen what I just said.
From my background, like niggas I know from the
I
hood.
said if he can go pick, if he can pick today and they can be working tomorrow.
But see, now you're creating.
CG.
How's he creating?
That's
He's
what they're
creating
doing.
a-
What
what
he
I'm saying is now
Bro,
he's creating
the
a
immigrants
narrative.
are not going through
Now
the
he's
legal process
no,
for
you're
it.
not
You're
getting what I'm saying.
inflating. You're
You
inflating.
didn't even let me finish.
No, you're inflating childhood friends that I want to look out for who just didn't reach their potential versus hardworking black men out here that are trying to get jobs but are not getting hired
I'm
for
not
a lot
saying-
of different reasons.
Yeah, I'm
If you
not going to argue it. I'm not going to argue that point.
If you go to any of these staffing agencies, we can put a bet right now. We can all do it this weekend. 90 to 95% of them will be ran by Hispanics. 90 to 95 of them will probably get to telling you it ain't no work done. I mean, it ain't no work there to be filled. But if you sit there long enough, you're going to see people going in, getting contracts and walking out. Going in, you know how I
that's
know?
facts.
I'ma
Because
say
when I
this.
got out of prison, this is what I used to have to do because only the agencies would hire felons. So I done been to every staffing agency from here to Carson to Compton to Watts to Santa Fe Springs to Inglewood to any major city. I done hit them all. I know how I operate.
So again, what your drive is your drive. Not everybody's doing it. I'm just speaking as a whole. A lot of people would have gave up and quit because at the end of the day, you can use this podcast. You just said, what's the average amount of episodes people do then it fall over?
I think he had that 20.
I forgot.
10,
You said it was
whatever.
20, like 20 episodes.
Correct.
Hold on. So a lot of black people want to do podcasts. They don't even make it to 20 episodes. That shows a dedication to you. Not everybody has your same work ethics, bro. Because if it was that easy, a lot of us would be successful.
This ain't just black people though.
I'm not saying black people. I'm just saying people that we know and which
this is
people
what you missing. I wouldn't have had to go that far if it wasn't this amount of illegals being hired through there. So,
I understand
so
that.
imagine
I
how many
understand
cities
that.
I hit.
I get it.
Majority of the workers there were undocumented. 99% of your crew that you work with in these staffing agencies are gonna be Hispanic. And
What
I
I'm
guarantee
saying is
you more than
you
half of
didn't
them are
get
undocumented.
discouraged.
And
Most
that's
people-
irrelevant.
It's not about
It
getting
If they
discouraged,
weren't,
nigga.
A lot of
nigga,
people-
are you not listening?
A lot
Okay,
of people
let's
would.
take sports.
A lot of people
Let's
would
take
quit,
sports.
bro. I'm telling you.
No, let's
they
take
get
sports.
intimidated about what's going on.
Okay, cool.
around.
You
Go
coach,
ahead.
right?
For sure.
So let's remove holdbacks, right? Let's
Okay.
take holdbacks on Pop
All right.
Warner teams.
Let's go.
How many more kids would be able to make the teams that they quit or their parents pull them off of if those holdbacks had to go on with their age bracket? It's a lot of good talent that never sees the fucking field because you got a 2-year, 3-year holdback who realistically, if you would remove them and put them with their age group, they probably wouldn't see the field. But this kid would.
I understand what you're
So
saying.
that's
but
the same
talent-
thing with the
but I
staffing.
get.
That was a
Remove
good
these
point.
illegals. It's a lot of spots that a lot of hardworking
But at the
Americans
end of the day, talent
want
still,
to fill those spots, bro.
And I agree with you saying. So let's just use the holdback. But if I see the holdback is balling, and then I see the kid that's playing at his proper age, I'm gonna still show more love to that kid at his proper age because I know for a fact this kid is a year older than him, and he's just as good.
Sure, that's cap, man.
No, that's not
we,
fuck outta
we,
here.
we
Who
see
gonna
this-
start?
We see this shit with
Who's
sports.
gonna start?
Who's gonna start?
Off tops, my nigga, the holdback is gonna start.
Who's gonna get the NIL looks?
the NIL?
Who's gonna get the scouts?
No, the kid his age. The
No,
young
the
kid.
fuck he's not.
gonna be on
Young
that
kid. Look at
sideline
the whole
drinking
young kid.
Gatorade
You know why?
playing.
He's just as good, bro. He's younger.
No, nigga.
Did we not just talk about?
No,
Did we not just talk about there's nigga? Did we just not talk about nigga when the youth win?
This
Then we just
nigga
had this
is
conversation about quarterback. Nigga, we just talked.
Go
hold
to
on.
any
Did we just
sports
not
league.
talking about?
Y'all
Hold on.
did.
We
Go
just
to
talked
any
about
sports
youth.
league.
We just talked about youth not that long ago.
Go to any sports league.
Did we not just talk
We
about
They
see
looking at the whole back.
I see niggas on the field big as me. We talking about, man, what the fuck is this nigga
Short
doing?
is cap,
Bro, if you're
Hey.
young and balling out, nigga, you have more of a.
They
You're
won't
not seeing
even
the
get
field.
the field. That's what we saying. They won't even get the opportunity because
If
the
he's
whole back is
just as
starting.
good, and
He's not
younger,
seeing the
He's
field.
not even getting a chance to prove it in
If he's
practice.
just
He ain't
as-
starting,
Bro,
nigga.
if he's just
if your
as good,
kid make any one of these all-star teams that go to Florida, the coaches will tell
Yeah,
you
they will.
if your son ain't a holdback, look, bro, we don't even want you to waste your
But I'm
money.
gonna tell you this:
He's
not
not gonna see the
everybody's
field.
a holdback, bro. That's what I'm saying. There
This
are
nigga's
some
been through every
exceptions.
scenario in the
Did I
world.
say
He didn't say everybody's a whole
I'm
back.
saying, bro.
I said,
there's
if you
Give
go
me
to-
an example.
Most
They're
of
not
the
exceptions
stars
to the rules, though.
are holdbacks.
Yeah, I'm
Again,
I don't
you're
know
an
about
exception
football
to
like
the
that.
rules
So.
of what I'm trying to get
There
at, bro.
would need to
So
be an
you-
exception,
bro.
if we do it the right way. Is what
But
I'm
if
saying.
there was an exception, there wouldn't be stars and people like us motivating the masses, bro. Because there are exceptions to every rule. So you give glimmer of hope when you're the exception, bro. That's what I'm trying to get at with you. You're an exception to the rules. You didn't quit. You persevered through. Not everybody has that same
What
grit
the
about
fuck
you.
does that have to do with available
You
positions?
talking about perseverance,
Bro,
He
there
said,
is not going to be
He
perseverance.
said I would have never had to
Niggas
hit.
don't even want, niggas get content. Niggas
What
okay,
niggas?
want more.
What niggas? Because I know plenty of black men that's trying to work right
Black
now.
men and niggas are two different things, bro.
Bro, when we say niggas, we just talking about us in general.
All right.
We not
I
separating
mean,
the two.
no. Definitely, there will be more positions available for.
Listen, if I
American
got a
citizens.
staffing
Say it
agency,
again. No, say that
No,
last
no,
part.
Bro.
there will be more positions available for Americans,
Look.
citizens to compete. Like you'll still have to compete, black, white.
Yeah, you would.
You know, whoever's a citizen.
Let me
you have
say
to
this.
most
compete.
Okay, let me
qualified.
say this then. Like you said, I was at a staffing agency working there 6 months. I'm going hard, lifting boxes. I'm picking up, it's men and women that work there. I see the women carry one box. I pick up 4 just to help the women.
Facts.
It get to a point they bring in a new worker. The new worker don't like the way I'm working. They complain. Me and one other black nigga from Compton, they get rid of both of us. They get rid of him
Why?
1 week. They tell me it's no work the next week. And now it's all everything else up in there
You're
at this
American
point.
citizen. You can file for wrongful termination.
No,
my nigga.
no,
No,
that's
you're not.
staffing
Not through an
agency.
agency. You
Oh.
can't, nigga. They can
can fire you for no
They can
reason.
say your
Oh.
contract is up. You're done working, and
Oh.
you're up out of there.
And you
What-
saying that's because you weren't Mexican?
Yes, nigga. That's
yes,
exactly what
more
it
or
was.
less, yes, nigga.
Okay.
Matter of fact,
Everybody's in
go
there.
to the
Everybody's-
Instagram page
I'm
right
not disagreeing
now.
with it. I just
Go to the Instagram page right now. Go to the pod page. Look at the hundreds and hundreds of comments of black men saying the same thing. I go to the staffing agencies. I go here. They're not hiring me. I look at the crews. They all Hispanic. 9 times
And
out
I
of 10,
combat that where by
most of
helping
them
step,
is illegals.
step up your levels of employment, wherever you can do. Go learn a different trade. Be more versatile where they hire you. I'm telling you, my nigga, that's what I did at my job, bro. I don't know.
But you deciphering
My
from the
nigga.
point.
No, but I'm
That's
saying,
not the point.
But I'm,
We're not
what I'm
saying.
saying,
We're not saying.
what I'm saying is, I didn't sit there and bitch and complain, bro.
You work for the city where it's impossible to be illegal. You need paperwork to do your job.
I understand,
These
but
men
I didn't get
are
that.
working
Wasn't my
in these
first job.
It don't matter.
Hey, you think if they want to do your job, you would be in there?
If they wanted to do my job,
If they was allowed to work where you at, them niggas, them niggas would kill you off right now.
Mexicans believe in nepotism. They help their family, bro. I'm not disputing what you're saying, but what I'm saying is I didn't get on with the city overnight, bro. I had to get other jobs. I went to different schools. I went to different trainings to build
Worked
up my
hard for it.
resume so I can be more hireable for the city
I
position.
agree. Okay,
That's
I
what
agree.
I'm saying.
But what you're missing is there's only so many
saying just to
slots
get a foot in the door.
available. No, what I'm saying is only so many slots available. If there's only 50 jobs available,
Okay.
and 40 of them are filled by illegals,
Illegal?
why the fuck would you want those 40 illegals gone and fill that 40 slots
with Americans?
With Americans.
I get
How
it.
is this even an argument?
It's not fair. I'm not saying that's fair.
No, not fair. How is this even a debate?
It's not a debate. What I'm saying is if you get in the door, then you got to do, it's up to you. It's your responsibility to get your folks in.
What?
Pass the word, my nigga. You're saying listen, bro. What you're doing is you're stating the problem. I'm
My
giving a
nigga,
solution. I'm just saying, my nigga.
How much pull do niggas have in positions like that where they barely got in?
Nigga, plenty. If you get in that position and try to get promoted, nigga, whatever you need to do, nigga, get promoted.
Niggas don't get promoted in those positions.
Sure, let me ask you this. If I wouldn't, let me ask you this. If I wouldn't got everything I needed to work with you, would you be able to put me in?
Hell yeah, I would, bro. Y'all laugh at my.
All right.
No, I'm dead ass, bro. Because listen,
You've been there for a while, no?
I've been there for a while, nigga. I've been there for almost 10 years,
nigga.
bro. Listen, you already know how I get down. I've been there for 10 years, bro, and I got pulled with the supervisor or at least HR. Homie, off tops, look for this name up when they take the test. And what I'm gonna do is for the test, I'm gonna give you the answer to what to study for. That's what you're supposed to do, bro.
Are you even supposed to do that? But
that's what you're supposed to do, my nigga. That's what I'm saying.
But
you can't help everybody.
But that's only because I know you. But now go to
bro. If you was to have,
point of
no.
Now
Des,
to somebody to a point that don't know you, what you gonna do?
Listen. If you was to be like, hey, bro, the homie from my hood need help. He trying to get in where you at. Off of your word alone, because you my nigga, I'm going to look out for him. I don't even know him.
But this is what I'm saying from a man that's not trying to depend on nobody. He's just going through the steps of trying to get in.
That's not the world we live in, bro.
I know, but he doesn't know nobody. And it's only a certain amount of slots. They know people and they got up in there. He went through all the right shit and couldn't get in.
All you can do is shoot your shot. You can't help if you make it or miss it. You got to shoot your shot.
I'm going to tell you like this, bro. I never said it's going to be fair. I never said it had to be even. All I'm saying is get the illegals out and let the citizens fight for those slots. Then everything you saying, that's when it kicks in. But people are doing everything you're saying and it's not mattering because I'm only looking at my overhead. Him, he has to have dental, medical. He get hurt on the job. That's workers' comp. And I got to pay him the high wage. Him, he's illegal. I don't got to give him none of that shit. And I'm going to pay him half of what I'm paying him. It's a no-brainer.
I understand that from a financial
So for me, there's no arguing at that point. Everything you saying applies when you're going against other Americans. Okay, now that's where that comes in. But that's when your skill come in. That's when your drive and all of that. But when all of that, you're doing all of that, but it's being chopped down because the nigga's only looking at his overhead and he don't even care about your skill set. I got a problem with that.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is you still can't let that defeat you. And what I'm trying to say is...
give us some motivation, Short.
We never
you want
said
to
let
do
it defeat
because I have nothing to do with the point.
Yeah,
what I'm
this nigga's crazy.
homie, if you can't get on with a job, create a job, bro. It's always ways of income, bro. If you learn a trade, bro, you ain't got to work for a company. Work for yourself and then try to get on with a company with the benefits and all that type of shit, bro. It's side gigs you can do to get there until you want to get to your position, homie. That's all I'm going to say. You want to be a truck driver, you can be an owner-operator, you can work for a company, or you can go off and get your own truck and we can lease, and then you can pay it back.
So where do they get the money?
That's all
I was just about to say, you can go through a company, lease the truck from there, take it out your paycheck while you're working for them because you're an owner-operator, and you can start for your own. Once you own that truck, then you can branch off into your ways. It's research, bro.
The average citizen is living paycheck to paycheck.
What I'm saying is when you lease a truck, homie, they will take it out. It's like taxes. They'll take it out your check while you're working for them. Okay,
cool.
And
no, we get that.
Pay it off. You can be a business owner.
We
What
get
I'm
that.
trying to get is ways around it.
We get that. But while they're in trucking school and doing all that to lease the truck, rent's coming, lights coming, kids got to eat.
You got to sell dope. You got to find a way, bro. What I'm trying to say, you nigga.
So you said risk your freedom.
You got to do the wrong things for the right reasons.
Okay, do the crime that Cali don't think is a crime, and maybe you won't go to jail. Y'all share, like, subscribe to the channel.